All right. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Doing good? Energized? Woo! Who's ready for the after party? Woo! Who's going to the after party? Woo! A lot of people? Nice. All right, so today we have a somewhat fireside stand about the Balancer Gnosis protocol. We have Jeremy from Balancer and Anna from Gnosis here. I'm Luke, nice to meet you. I'm strategic lead at Prime DAO, also involved in the DAOist, and I'm helping the Balancer Grants DAO to allocate grants. So if at any chance you hear something that you like and you want to build on top of it, come chat with me. There's a lot of cool stuff to be built. Without further ado, maybe you two want to do a quick intro, and then we can tell a bit more about the Balancer Gnosis protocol.
Sure. No, you go first.
All right. Cool. So basically I'm here today from the Gnosis protocol team. However, we will be spinning out of Gnosis. So I think we are mostly known under the name CowSwap, which will also be the name of the new company that we are creating. And I've been with Gnosis for the last 4 years. Always working across the different products, the Gnosis Safe, which also has a couple of people from the team somewhere around at this venue giving talks. And also on the prediction markets offering that Gnosis was working on before. But since the beginning of this year, I'm fully focusing on our decentralized exchange protocol, which launched in March. In May, and that was basically exactly the time where we also were speaking with the Balancer team about them integrating our CowSwap protocol. And since then we have been working on it, and now it's finally live, which is amazing, and glad to be here and talk about it a bit more.
Thank you, Anna. I'm Jeremy, head of growth at Balancer Labs. I've been on the team for a year. And much of my time is spent working on really high value integrations with other projects in the ecosystem, such as Gnosis and Anna's team. This is one that I've been very excited about for a while. So very, very happy to share this with you and to bring this new technical solution available to retail traders, institutional traders, DeFi protocols. I think this is we're going to be discussing why this is a game changer and how it's going to be a really valuable tool for all of you.
Nice. You can jump right into it, Jeremy. What is the Gnosis Balancer protocol?
So this is the integration of CowSwap, which, in my opinion, and I know in a lot of people's opinion in the space, it's really the best user experience for DEX trading in all of DeFi. I love it. I love the product. It's got tons of benefits, which we'll probably dive into, but it's essentially the integration of CowSwap into the Balancer protocol, so that every trade that you make through Balancer's front end is just the same as if you were making it through CowSwap. You get the best available price, not only on Balancer, but across all DEXs. You also get to trade without needing to have any ETH in your wallet, because you don't have to pay gas in ETH. You can pay gas in the tokens that you're trading, actually. And sort of a lot of features which Anna and I will get into that just make the whole experience a lot nicer for users.
Yeah, perfect. Anna, if you can jump a bit deeper into it, and specifically what is the cow part and how does it work and why is it so valuable?
Absolutely, would love to. Maybe just to add a little bit on the high level of how the two protocols are now being integrated with each other. Exactly what Jeremy was saying. So Balancer has now per default integrated CowSwap. So any one of you going to the Balancer user interface, you're placing a trade, it will be channeled via CowSwap. But then also from the CowSwap side of things, we have also integrated the Balancer protocol more tightly, meaning that any transactions, if there's single transactions that we want to settle on the Balancer pools because they have the best price across all on-chain liquidity, then we are saving the users also some gas costs, because we can directly send the transaction, settle the transaction in the Balancer pools without having to send the transaction through our settlement contract. So there's additional price benefits from this integration. And sorry, now getting to your question about
the cow part. What is cow swap?
Cow swap is essentially, I think, the easiest way to describe it is that it's a meta DEX aggregator. So cow swap is tackling a lot of different problems. One that is quite known is, or hopefully all of you have at least come across it, is the maximum extractable value, MEV, which has been one of the biggest topics arising this year. It's essentially the possibility for external parties to extract value from your trades. So whenever you trade on wherever, you do a Uniswap, MetaMask, or wherever, you usually define a slippage to ensure that your trade is being executed. And the higher the slippage you set, the more value can be extracted for you, because this slippage is exploitable. And CowSwap has multiple layers of ensuring that this slippage doesn't get extracted from the end user. Happy to talk about this in a little bit more detail, maybe to keep on the high level advantages that CowSwap delivers. This is one. And that is uniquely done. No other protocol does it in the way that CowSwap does it. But also, nowadays, if you as a trader, you try to find the best on-chain execution path, there is already existing DEX aggregators, right? There's already OneInch, Paraswap, Matcha. But we have realized that not always each of them offers the best price, because it's still a question of which ERC20 token are you swapping against, which one at what point in time, that not always, they don't always deliver the same solution. So we essentially are aggregating those aggregators as well. We also have direct tight integration into any existing on-chain liquidity, but again, also these DEX aggregators. So if Matcha, whichever one offers the best price, your trades would still be channeled there. But we have some statistics on this, and I think about 30% of trades usually get the best price on Matcha, but then 20% maybe on Paraswap. So you can tell that it's not always the one DEX aggregator that would offer you the best one. If you go to CowSwap, you ensure you will always get the best price. And then, some of the advantages that Jeremy mentioned from the UX side of things. As a user, if your transaction fails, you don't pay for it. Also, you pay you're not, basically what you do is you're signing a transaction, so you don't have to pay transaction costs in ETH. If your trade gets executed successfully, you're paying basically in the ERC20 token that you are swapping, not in Ether. And then there's a bunch of other advantages, but maybe, I don't know, to make it more interesting, happy for you to mix it up.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that two protocols have decided to collaborate on making something that's better. How has this partnership come together, and kind of are there any highlights in that kind of interaction between two big organizations?
Yeah, I would say Gnosis and Balancer teams have had close relationship for a long time. I think that we have a mutual respect for sort of the focus on both sides on quality and on engineering. It's kind of like what we both have, sort of a tech-first culture, less concerned with creating hype, more concerned with creating real value and creating real innovation that moves the space forward and provides something unique that doesn't already exist. So I think it was a very natural fit for us to work together on this. We on the Balancer side, we saw this as an opportunity to provide the best user experience possible, and that can even mean that sometimes Balancer itself would not always capture all of the value of the trade. For example, as Anna described, when you trade on Balancer today, we want you to have the best user experience, and we want you to get the best possible price. In a lot of cases, that best possible price will be settled on Balancer because of the design of the protocol, because of our single vault architecture, which allows very low cost trades in between pools on the Balancer protocol. But if it's not on Balancer, we still want you to get the best price, and we're allowing that to happen anywhere in DeFi, wherever it's best for the user.
Maybe to add from my end, I think really if you look in the DEX space, there hasn't been so many strong innovations lately, right? I mean, you have, of course, the concentrated liquidity market maker, but other than that, the DEX space hasn't evolved that much anymore recently. And then you have a balancer team that I think has always struck us as one of like the really strong teams in terms of developer capability. And Balancer V2 is a very strong product. I mean, this was very innovative to launch with the single vault. At the same time, CowSwap is also bringing new innovation to the DEX space because we really bring this new batch layer that doesn't really exist anywhere else, right? So essentially what happens on CowSwap is that multiple users' trades that can be batched together to give users a better price in the end. So what we do is if there's, for example, one user trading USDC for DAI and someone else DAI for USDC, they can be directly swapped against each other. But there's also other advantages if multiple people want to do the same trade of selling DAI for USDC, for example. We batch them together and channel it on-chain, which means that we only use a single transaction. So if you look at numbers, for example, like how much savings can we make for users, just looking at gas costs, for example, I would say like a general Uniswap trade, of course it always depends what kind of token you're swapping, but let's say a standard ERC20 token that you're swapping on Uniswap incurs about 130k in gas. In CowSwap, we can bring down the price for the end user to 70k. So there is significant savings in that already. And basically, summing it up, I think Balancer and CowSwap in their own ways really bring new innovation to DeFi. And for us, it was just a logical fit to see if we could collaborate on this. And it makes a lot of sense because, Balancer has the liquidity pools. We are building a DEX that is tapping into on-chain liquidity. So it was, really a natural fit for us to work on this together to get ultimately better prices for the end users.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful to see how two DAOs are coming together to really find the best possible value for the end user. Now, zooming a little bit more into this kind of partnership, how do you think that something like this could scale across even larger within these DAOs or within multiple DAOs? Do you see that this is something that you could do with 10 or 15 different organizations, or is it something specifically to this partnership alone?
So it depends. So this like very tight collaboration where we basically essentially are able to directly send single transactions to Balancer, I think this is a very unique partnership in that way. However, of course, the CowSwap protocol can be integrated by multiple external parties. And actually, for the use case of DAOs, it makes a lot of sense. For example, everyone who has done a multi-sig trade in their life, they know it's like quite time-consuming to collect the signatures of whoever your co-founders or whoever you're sharing the safe with. And it's exactly the same situation for a DAO. I mean, actually a lot of DAOs are using the Gnosis safe today. And so what happens is if you want to use a DAO for, like if you want to make a trade on your treasury, usually it takes quite a long time until your trade is submitted because it takes so much time until your co-signer has co-signed the transaction. So what happens is that you have a high probability that your trade will fail because by the time that it would be executed, the on-chain prices have changed. The one way to avoid this is that you set a ridiculously high slippage, but then you get yourself prone to MEV extraction. And I don't know, for example, we were looking in MetaMask trades the other day because they are just using that as an example because they have a default slippage of 3%. And there was one trade that we came across that lost in one single transaction more than 7 Ether. So this is definitely something that you do want to avoid, right? And so what CowSwap does is always at the time, so you as a user, you're not committing to a trading path. All that you're signing is the sell token, the buy token, your limit price, and then the duration until when you want this trade to expire. And then what happens is by the point in time that your co-signer co-signs the transaction, then these solvers, which is basically the executing arm of CowSwap that are looking at the transactions that are in the order book, see how they can batch them together, and then looking at what's the best possible way of executing those on chain. These entities, these solvers, they will look at what is the current price point on chain that is needed to execute your price. So if you define the slippage of 3%, they won't submit your trade with the 3% slippage, but instead they will see, okay, only 0.7% slippage is necessary. They will add 0.1% slippage just to make sure, because you never know what's going to happen. And then they will submit this. So you're essentially making sure that the remaining 2.2 or 2.3, whatever is taken, cannot be executed by external parties due to sandwiching you. And yeah, I think that's because you brought up the DAO use case, that just came to mind, that especially for those who are running a DAO or using a safe multisig, this is probably the best user experience in terms of DEX trading that you can have.
I've been there. Anything to add, Jeremy?
Yeah, I would just kind of add from another angle that I think a lot of people, who are familiar with Balancer are aware that, it's a decentralized exchange. Might also be aware of the fact that it's an automated portfolio manager, it's an asset management platform. But really beyond both of those things, it's a platform for development. The Balancer is designed to, be a platform for the most flexible, customizable liquidity pools. And because of that flexibility, because of that customizability, the use cases that you can create by different configurations of liquidity pools on Balancer is infinite. So this integration with CowSwap doesn't only bring value to traders and users of Balancer interface, the CowSwap interface. It also brings value to all of the projects that are integrated with Balancer, that are tapping into the liquidity Balancer, that are using trade functionality on Balancer. This is going to provide further benefits for the ecosystem in a much larger way as well.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, we're about to run out of time. Anna, anything that's coming up for CowSwap that's really exciting you want to share?
Oh, many exciting things are coming up. I'm not sure how much I want to...
Just a little bit of alpha.
Well, I did mention that we're doing our spin-off, so that's something that we're heavily working on. Definitely worthwhile to check out CowSwap. There's going to be a profile page launching that also gives people the opportunity to share a direct link to the product. And then we will be tracing how much volume is generated. But yeah, there's a lot of fun features coming up. The safe integration is going live very soon as well. So actually, a lot of things are ready. We just didn't launch them this week because everyone is busy here at Lisbon. But next week we have a couple of nice announcements and launches coming up.
Wonderful, thank you. What about you, Jeremy? What's coming up for Balancer?
What's coming up for Balancer? So we've been working on a really interesting, innovative new feature that I can't tell you about right now, but we're announcing it on Thursday at LizCon. So if you'll be there, come and listen. It's pretty cool. I would say at this point in time, Balancer is gaining so much traction with really high quality projects in DeFi that are integrating and building on top of Balancer. Fade Protocol is building their V2 on Balancer. We have the team from Powerpool here who's building on Balancer. We have teams building custom AMMs within Balancer, such as Element Finance and Gyroscope and more. The design space is very, very wide, and I think that the product market fit in many different places is kind of clicking into place. So it's a very exciting time for Balancer now.
Nice, thank you so much. Are you about speaking at LizCon?
I am. Are you?
No, we didn't get a talk.
You didn't get a talk, so only Jeremy. All right. Thank you all so much. That's it. We're done.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.